Hi, welcome to Strictly Sports, your weekly destination for true sports talk. No politics here, just strictly sports. I'm Spencer.
My name is Boyce.
And let's get into it. We're going to talk about some NFL first.
And then we'll move on to some NBA talk after that. And we'll close and shout out Twitter once again.
Yeah, because we have still 4 followers, but it's cool.
All right, so let's get into it.
All right, so this past week and a half was probably one of the worst weeks for the NFL in their history as far as publicity. Because
injuries. Yeah, or due to the injuries.
It just made the NFL look almost on a whole another level of just
evil,
bad,
violent. It's just
we had
sad.
Ryan Shazier, a really popular player, a really good player, and a player that a lot of people just like.
Steelers middle linebacker. He's been starting for a while.
Middle linebacker.
Yeah,
he was a Pro Bowl select. He was going to be in the Pro Bowl this year. He went in and make a routine tackle, and what did he do to his spine?
It just froze. His legs,
Yeah.
it just locked up. He had to have some serious surgery. He had to go to a hospital immediately. He had major back surgery. Eventually, he
could have been paralyzed.
He got a private jet. His family was flown out there. Good for the Steelers organization for how they handled it. They got a private jet for the family, and they flew them out there because this is a serious,
really
severe,
scary.
Yeah, it was a terrifying injury.
It wasn't a fluke play. It was a play that you see every game. Yeah, I didn't think anything of it when I saw it.
There was no maliciousness. It was like no targeting.
And then the worst part about that game was instead of all those players seeing that and like kind of taking a step back and playing a little more cautious through that game, I think they just wanted to rip each other's heads off.
It did, and you know what? That's something you see a lot in the Steelers and Bengals rivalry.
Yeah, they don't like each other.
Yeah, there are a lot of good rivalries in all of sports, especially in the NFL. But
that might be the dirtiest rivalry.
The Steelers, and especially with the acquisitions of certain new players, as we've seen Juju Smith-Schuster, he
got in the rivalry a little bit.
And Vontaze Burfict the past few years and how he's been.
And then in that game, Burfict got taken out with a really. It's like a normal football hit, but Schuster, the way he stood over him, that got him suspended for a game.
Yeah, the taunting afterward.
Yeah, and Burfict, to be honest, he kind of had it coming.
He did. I will be honest, we know Antonio Brown from multiple tweets and screams and now shirts being made that it was karma. from the Pittsburgh side of you, it was karma. He had it coming one day, and this rookie on a... Yeah, I wouldn't say maybe blindside. Would you say it was kind of blindside?
It was a blindside.
He was focusing on the play.
It was a 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, he didn't see Schuster coming in. The Schuster just blew him, just knocked him straight down. And normally, a rookie wide receiver doesn't do that to somebody vicious and big as Vontaze Burfict. So, it's been a rough weekend. Now at least I expected to be our MVP this year.
Definite MVP.
Yeah,
tears his ACL.
Tears his ACL. He's out for the year, and they're talking about him missing the beginning of next year too, which is huge. And not only
did not look good.
Not only is this the MVP, but for the sake of the Eagles and the playoff race and Super Bowl, they were one of the favorites to win the NFC and make it a Super Bowl. They were 11-2,
they looked good. And they didn't look like they were losing.
Yeah, they were very solid. They made a lot of great offseason moves. Wentz really grew into a lot of draft prospects looked at Wentz, before the draft, and they said boom or bust, and they said he could definitely explode. And that's what he did. He got a lot of help.
Yeah.
He focused on the game. He focused on himself and his in his growing, and he definitely got a much more improved player. But here we are, And
it's because he was running. He was.
Yeah, he went in for the touchdown. He dove. Mark Barron hit him low. Another Rams player hit him high. Yeah, it wasn't like a dirty play. Again, it was just.
This is scary about most of these plays that are taking out a lot of players. That they're plays you see every game.
Exactly. It's
And then the way you could tell someone was Wentz he got up limping, and you don't think anything of it when somebody gets up. But then if you saw the video of him trying to walk off the field and you saw his leg keep bowing out. That's not a good sign. Something's not doing its job.
Kudos to him for being tough and sticking with his team to finish off that drive with a touchdown.
He relied on his arm strength because he couldn't push off.
Yeah, if you saw him and throw that touchdown pass to Alshon Jeffrey at the end of that drive.
Yeah, it was all
he was in a shotgun, called hike. He just took it, maybe took one step drop back, if that, and then maybe it was a half step drop back, and then you see the offensive line hold up, which they also have a good offensive line. Like I said, it's a great team that they have here, and. It held up, and then he just made his read, and he got the touchdown, and now he's done for the year. So
for the Eagles, not all hope is lost. I would say Nick
Foles,
not
at all.
He's not the worst backup in the world.
No, and
Nick
you know
Foles
what? Actually,
pretty
within their first 24 career starts, Foles has been better compared to Wentz. Granted, they're different years apart. These are two different teams they've taken a hold of, but Foles is back, and we've seen him do some really, really great things with the Eagles. So we're looking.
I remember like a couple of years ago he threw like 7 touchdowns in a game.
It was
like he had a really
it was 6, I think.
Six,
I think it was
maybe.
6.
He had a really good game.
Yeah,
so.
and they were through 24 career starts. They were better.
Yeah.
I mean, Foles is the better player. He just he knows this offense. He knows the team, and I think from an Eagles perspective, Foles is not going to take the place of Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is looking really well, looking really good.
He's a fan favorite.
He was a fan favorite.
His
He was an
starting
MVP
spot
leader.
isn't going anywhere, and once he's ready
once he's back, he's certainly not leaving. But it
honestly,
was just
this is probably the worst year for the NFL like in their history
for overall like injury.
Because injuries, we've seen quarterbacks just taken out. Andrew Luck never even played a game.
And
Aaron Rodgers got taken out. Carson Wentz now. Teddy Bridgewater still hasn't come back from his injury.
Exactly.
And then with all the kneeling, they've just really
not
had a
with
good year
with
for
the
ratings.
protest. I mean, we've seen Eric Berry at the very beginning of the season. I mean, this dude's
Yeah.
beat cancer, and now first game of the season they have an awesome win against the Patriots, who a lot of people expected just go after the offseason that they had last year. They just to do amazing. And opening night in Foxborough, Eric Berry and his Chiefs, they lead a great game against the Patriots and they win. But he lost his Achilles, so now he's done for the year. And you look at Rodgers. Now Rodgers might be coming back, may not be. Now there's been a lot of implications with Rodgers himself because broken collarbone, could come back. They're still in the hunt. They're not out of it. Brett Hundley and the Packers, they've been decent. They've been okay. They put up good fights. They haven't won all of them.
Yeah.
But they're still in the hunt. What are they, 7-6 right now?
Yeah.
And so
in that division, it's pretty much wide open.
And in that division, yeah.
Well, I guess the Vikings are in control of it. I always forget about the Vikings.
Yeah, the Vikings are in control, but they could certainly get a wild card. I'd say the NFC is certainly open for a wild card right now. And with Rodgers back, I mean, he said it best. He feels like they can run the table. And in my opinion, I've always thought Aaron Rodgers is the most talented quarterback I've ever seen.
Same.
I mean, legacy-wise, he doesn't have the GOAT status, but just from a pure talent perspective and just quarterback play, he's been the best I've ever seen. So I mean, he's not wrong. Like they could certainly run the table. He said it last year after their 4-game losing streak. They went on a 6-game winning streak. So they could certainly do it again. I mean, but we just, like you said, we've seen so many injuries this year from David Johnson's wrist. A lot of people, first overall fantasy pick, David Johnson. He had a phenomenal year last year.
I picked him first.
Yeah, I had him last year because he was great. I had him last year.
He's just the most very consistent. He was usually very consistent, and he'll get you a solid amount of points every week.
And the Texans lost J.J. Watt this year, and
with J.J. Watt's
and
gone.
Whitney Merciless to them, and Richard Sherman and Cam Chancellor are both done. Just two big superstars. It's been a horrible year for injuries.
So
who
do you think is gonna win the MVP now that Wentz is out?
Truthfully, the race for me was my top 3 were not in order: Wentz, Brady, Wilson. Now Wentz is gone, and even though he was having a great year, and in my opinion he was in the lead and was going to win it, now he's gone. I don't think there's enough to back up like that either Wilson or Brady,
can't win it.
So for me, it's tough. I
think you got.
I want to say Brady.
Yeah.
Let me rephrase that. I don't want to say Brady, but I think it's going to be Brady. Wilson has done a phenomenal job.
He's carried his team.
He has carried his team, and the amount of fourth quarter touchdowns he's thrown is unreal. He just does such a good job of just in the fourth quarter coming up clutch. Like the Texans game this year, that was one of the greatest games of the year, and Deshaun Watson was honestly starting to have an MVP season before he got himself. Yeah. There's another one, Deshaun Watson, but he was starting to have himself an MVP year, and then all of a sudden, Russell Wilson with like 30 seconds left on the clock, he throws a dart down the middle of the field into the end zone and touchdown. They win. So he's certainly been amazing.
In my MVP race, I think you got to obviously take Brady and Wilson, and then I think Antonio Brown's starting to creep in there. He's been having a really, really good year.
He's been having a phenomenal year.
A lot of people are starting to take notice of him.
Yeah, and like you said, Big Ben at the end of the Jaguars game after throwing 5 picks to that stout Jaguars defense. Granted, it's a great defense, and they they
5 picks is a lot.
5 picks is a lot for anybody. I mean, even Ryan Fitzpatrick, that's a lot.
It's hard to throw 5 picks in a game.
And but Antonio Brown has just made his life so much easier. He's just been this explosive player.
It doesn't matter who you put on him. He gets open.
He gets open. He's been phenomenal. Just leading the NFL in yards right now, and just been so good. I mean, Airbnb is looking really good. That's a good nickname for them. I think so.
Yeah. All right, so you want to talk about the NBA now?
Let's look at the playoffs real quick. So the playoffs for the NFL, like this Wentz injury obviously hurts because the Eagles were looking
Yeah, it's hard to win. It's hard to win a championship without a good
with a backup quarterback. Yeah, but here's the thing. I wonder. I have a lot of high expectations for Nick Foles, and I don't think he'll disappoint them. He, like I said, he's been with the Eagles before, and when he has been and started, he looked absolutely phenomenal. Like he looked great. He was throwing touchdowns. He was not throwing picks. He was winning games, and this is a solid team overall. They made a lot of good offseason moves. They got Nelson Aguilar is looking like one of the best wide receivers in the league right now.
Yeah.
Now that might have been subject to Wentz being as good as he's been, but Nick Foles can certainly pull it off. So I see their playoff chances and their Super Bowl hopes taking a hit. Obviously, it's their star, possibly MVP quarterback, but I think Nick Foles can certainly do a phenomenal job. In my opinion, for backup quarterback wise, they are one of the best teams set in the NFL right now for backup quarterbacks.
Them the Colts, to be honest.
I'd say the Colts are good with Jacoby Brissett. I mean, the roster's
they better
horrible.
trade, honestly, because I feel bad. I would feel bad if that guy had to sit behind Andrew Luck a whole year when he's potentially.
I think he's a starter in this league. Yeah, he's not a superstar, but if you put him on a good roster, you'll win games.
Trade him to the Browns because he'll start.
Deshaun Kaiser's not looking too hot still.
Yeah, he'll start. You can throw Josh Gordon. So.
Yeah, they just got Josh Gordon back. So
he's looking pretty good.
Oh, he is looking good. They're doing what they do with him every year before his next drug test happens and he's gone another 3 years. But they're just feeding him the ball, and he's a talented wide receiver, and he looks good. I mean, Flash Gordon caught his first touchdown pass in 4 years like it was nothing. And granted, that Packers defense isn't too solid, and you saw the Twitter beef between him and Demarius Randall afterward. But I mean, he looks good. So I wonder how the Colts play this offseason.
Yeah, but my pick if we're just going to stay on the playoffs, I think it's going to get the final 4 teams. I would say it's probably going to be Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh versus New England in the AFC, and I think it'll be the Vikings versus the Saints in the NFC. Did I say it? AFC? Pittsburgh and New England for the AFC, Vikings, Saints for the NFC, because I think if the Vikings play the Eagles, I think the Vikings defense is too good for Nick Foles to beat them.
Yeah.
And I think if the Saints play the Eagles, the Saints have a really good pass defense, which could make it tough for the Eagles. For Foles, and the Saints can put up points.
Yeah, I'd say they have one true elite receiver on that team, and that is
Michael Thomas.
Or no, I'm talking about Philly. So for Philly, I'd say they have one true elite receiver. It's Alshon Jeffrey, and they have, in my opinion, defensive rookie of the year on the Saints, Marshawn Lattimore.
He's a beast.
So yeah, he's been going crazy this year. So I think Alshon Jeffrey gets taken out of the equation a little bit. Obviously, it comes down to if the tight end for Philly, drawing a blank on his name.
Me too.
Anyway, the tight end for Philly, if he's not healthy, he had a great first half of the year, but if he can't continue, Zach Ertz, that's what it is.
Zach Ertz,
yeah. So if Zach Ertz can't stay healthy because he's just had some recent injuries here or there, and they've been okay with Brent Selleck in the backup, but
Brent Selleck is solid. He's been the Eagles. I feel like my whole life he's been on the Eagles, to be honest, forever.
Yeah, and
as long as I can remember watching the NFL, Brent Selleck and Jason Witten have been playing.
Yeah, and he's been doing really well all year long. So it's tough to say who would win that game. I think even with Foles as their starter, if it was Wentz, I'd still say Wentz wins. Mm-hmm. But we've seen Drew Brees. Drew Brees has postseason experience. He has a ring, and he's still Drew Brees. He still just racks up passing yards anyway.
He's good.
Michael Thomas is a dog.
Ted Ginn stretches
and Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram are just looking phenomenal in that run game. They got Ryan Ramkeys. I think I'm saying that right. Ramkeys or something like that.
It's
an interesting last name. But they got him a tackle this year. They got Alvin Kamara from Tennessee, and got Mark Ingram just going off again. And like I said on defense, they're improved so much. And
I think the Super Bowl, I honestly think it'll, because Case Keenum, he's been playing well this year. But at the end of the day, I can't say that I believe Case Keenum is an elite enough quarterback to beat Drew Brees in a game.
You know what?
I don't think Case Keenum could do that. So I would have to take Saints versus probably. I want to go with the Steelers right now, but it depends on who gets home field advantage in the AFC. Because if New England gets home field advantage, they're probably going to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's a wrap, I think.
So it's basically Saints versus whoever gets home field advantage in the AFC, and I think that would be a really good Super Bowl to kind of put a good end, a cherry on top of the really bad season that we've had so far, because that would probably be a pretty good game.
If the Patriots were not to make it and the Steelers were.
Either way.
Yeah.
I mean, either way, it would be a good game. Hopefully the Patriots don't win again. to be honest,
Getting bored.
who the hell wants to see that?
Exactly.
But-
So, you know what? For AFC wise, playoff perspective, AFC is cupcake. It is. Other than Pittsburgh and New England, there's nobody really good in the AFC.
I mean, the Ravens could
The Ravens
put up a fight.
They put up a fight against. They show out against the Steelers.
They're showed against good teams.
They do,
play well
and you know they have
for
shown
good
out
teams.
against. They can't. The Ravens do have a history of showing out against, specifically
the Patriots.
the Patriots and the Pittsburgh Steelers, as we've seen just last week. I mean, they lost by 1 point in a high-scoring affair.
They should have won,
39.
probably.
And
They
yeah,
kinda threw the game away.
if it wasn't for the field goal right there, and for Roosevelt Nix mossing some cornerback, the fullback out of for Pittsburgh. So,
yeah, you know, just got lucky.
but yeah, so for me, like I don't know exactly. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to play on the overall playoff race for AFC, but I certainly see New England and Pittsburgh facing off in the championship, and then from there, New England winning it and moving on to the Super Bowl as normal. Tom Brady has thrown 22 touchdowns and 0 interceptions, and they're last meetings of like 7 years or something like that, something crazy. So he just doesn't throw picks against his defense. It's simple like that. So they it's NFC. That's where the mystery happens, because the NFC's been good for a while.
They have like 3 or 4.
Yeah, they got
decent
Vikings,
teams.
Eagles, Saints, Rams.
Rams are pretty good.
I mean, Rams could have certainly won that game against. The Rams certainly could have won that game against the Eagles. And right now, I don't know. With Wentz going down, are Rams the better team than the Eagles? I mean,
they have a good defense.
They
definitely.
Yeah, so it's tough for me to say who wins that one. The Rams offense just looks so good. Todd Gurley is back to his old self. They got a new center in the offseason. They got Andrew Whitworth at left tackle. They got Sammy Watkins in the draft. But so anyway, for me, I see. I think I got to go with the Vikings, at least in the NFC Championship. I don't know about the other 3, but I think the Vikings make the NFC Championship. Maybe we see a rematch of the NFC Championship when the Saints won the Super Bowl between the Saints and the Vikings. You know,
Hopefully let's not talk about that game. But hopefully there's no bounty going on for Case Keenum.
Hopefully there's no bounty going on for hurting the players.
Yeah.
Right-hand
Brett Favre got hit, and they're like, "Where's my money?"
So,
all right, so we'll talk about NBA now.
Yeah, so that's the end of our NFL talk. Let's get into NBA.
All right, so for a couple kids from Indy, Pacers, we follow the Pacers definitely. I'm not the biggest Pacers fan, but we definitely follow them, and they've been a lot better than most of the fans expected them to be this year.
Oh yeah, big surprise.
Yeah, especially when we Pacers traded Paul George for Victor Oladipo and DeMontis Sabonis, and when you hear that, it sounds like
it sounds horrible.
It sounds like you got robbed.
Yeah,
But Pacers fans were really mad because
I was upset. I mean, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan, but
yeah.
I was not happy.
Reports came out on draft night that on draft night the Celtics were offering like a lottery pick and like Jay Crowder and like probably a much better package, to be honest, that like the Pacers probably still should have taken that. But Oladipo has been showing out. Like Oladipo,
what did he just do? Drop like a career high 47 points the other night? Yeah, it's unreal. He's been an absolute dog. I mean,
yeah, and then the OKC comes back in town tonight. Paul George will.
Pacers had better win that game. Yeah, Paul George will certainly get some booze. Seen a lot of funny tweets lately.
I was at the game when Lance Stevenson came back for the first time, and the crowd was pretty nasty to him. And Lance Stevenson was like the Pacers like fan favorite. Like every Pacer fan loves. Lance Stevenson.
I mean after the playoff series between him and LeBron, with the blowing on the ear and the walking into the huddle and all that other goofy stuff, I loved it. I love watching all of it, and there's some great memes that came out of it, and Twitter was blowing up afterwards. So it's gonna give a lot of heat. And like I said, I've seen a lot of funny tweets recently. I've seen somebody. I was just seeing a lot of funny stuff. I've seen people hoping that it gets a close game and Paul George gets the last second shot and just hits a nice little brick. And but
she's been known to do.
Yeah, but you know what? It's been 26 games now, and I think it's safe to say OKC is awful. I mean, between Westbrook, Melo, and PG-13, it was. Everybody's looking at them like, oh man, like they made some good moves.
They had 3 really solid players on the team.
They have a big 3, and it's interesting because you see, I've read a lot of reports that say like, you see these players go with Westbrook and the reigning MVP, and you know he's as good as he is.
Players are worse with Westbrook.
Yeah, Westbrook makes players worse, and like look at Oladipo, he was really nothing at.
The two players of the week last week were Kevin Durant and Victor Oladipo, and they both used to play with Westbrook.
Yeah, and
you know Durant was obviously still one of the best, probably. Even when he was on OKC, he was still pretty much widely considered the second best player in the league behind LeBron. But it's just Golden State's a different offense, it's a different system. It's much more they pass the ball a lot more. It's not like, here, I'll pass to you, and then you try to get to the basket in ISO, or I'll pass to you. You try to ISO. Like it's like they actually move, set screens. Not a lot of ISO ball.
Exactly.
And then OKC, it's just like when Melo gets the ball, it's like throwing the ball in like a black hole or something. Because as soon as he gets the ball, he's gonna try and post somebody up, and then he lately hasn't been making a whole lot of shots.
No, not at all.
And then Paul George, I don't even know where he fits into that offense because he's always been like a weird offensive player because he's a catch and shoot and he can get to the basket.
But he's certainly talented. Like there's no doubt about talented, that. But like you said, like that. Westbrook, a team with Westbrook is where stars go to die.
Yeah,
truthfully.
Not that good.
I mean, Oladipo, like you said, all the reports from way back when the trade happened. Oh my God, the Pacers are horrible for doing this trade. They just got robbed. They're shooting themselves in the foot for accepting this. Why would they not accept the Celtics offer? And here we are. Paul George is with OKC and that burning mess, and now Pacers are here with Oladipo dropping new career highs.
The Pacers, honestly, I think they just traded him to OKC just to spite him because they knew he wanted to be in a big market where he'd be getting the ball a lot. So they said, "Oh, here we'll put you on a team like one of the smallest market teams with the most ball dominant player in the league."
Yeah, with the reigning MVP, who's better than
Well, he's just Westbrook likes to have the ball in his hand.
He does,
and when he passes it, when he passes it, he's passing to get an assist because he wants that triple double.
Yeah,
and the way their offense, it's just everybody stands around and he dribbles. And
they just let Westbrook do his thing really, and stars. Yeah, like. He's just if you're on that team, you are not as good as you could be. It stops your potential. So,
I mean, the NBA definitely. There's some really good teams this year. The Rockets look amazing. The Warriors are obviously. I mean, they're the Warriors. Like we all know that they're gonna go pretty deep in the playoffs. And then the Celtics and the Cavs both look pretty good. So as far as who's winning it all, I mean, it's pretty tough.
Yeah, winning it all. It's still early in the season, obviously. Celtics look phenomenal, but
they don't.
Watch what happened with Kyrie Irving. I mean, what was it? Like 85 to like 111, and it was a massacre for them. I mean, that week of the Patriots, I saw a funny tweet that said like one Boston fan he was struggling do I want to watch my Patriots win by a gazillion points or do I want to watch my Celtics win by a gazillion points? And they lose to Miami.
Boston fans are
then Kyrie lets Celtics lose too by 20 points. So who wins it all? If they have Kyrie, it's tough to not say the Celtics, I don't think. I mean, it comes down to Golden State and the Celtics.
It's just the Celtics are so well coached. Their defense is so good.
They are. Brad Stevens has been a great coach.
When you get into a 7-game series with LeBron James, he's really, really hard to beat.
He turns off as soon as he turns off his social media. And
when you don't have a mega superstar on your team, like the Celtics with Gordon Hayward, I would pick them to win the East, but they don't have that there's
that big superstar
Well, Kyrie's a huge superstar, but they don't.
Well, when I say big, I mean actual size, like that big guy to actually because LeBron's a big guy. I mean, he looks like a linebacker out there, and he just. Did you see that pass he threw the other night to Kyle Korver behind the back? Oh, that was disgusting. He was just doing it for fun. I feel like LeBron is so talented at this point in his life. He just gets bored playing these games. He kind of goofs around, just puts up 27 points, 7 assists or 7 rebounds, 17 assists. It's no big deal. He just does his thing.
But you said, let's be honest. We all know the best pro basketball team is the Lithuanian. I can't even pronounce the team's name. But it's a team in a town of
LaMelo and Leangelo, or they made their or either they or their dad. I don't know which one. They made
probably
the
their dad. LeVar's not the.
I believe LeVar. Yeah, I mean. LeVar's trying to keep his favorite son the favorite, I think, at the Lakers. And
LaMelo's his favorite son. Do you watch?
You think so?
I watched the YouTube documentary of the Ball family, and in every episode he goes through and he says LaMelo has the most star power out of all my kids, and he says LaMelo would be the best player out of all of them.
I wonder what his definition of star power is. If that means media and
facial. LaMelo is just.
He does have a face that's more unique, I think, than either of his brothers. But
he's got the hair.
He does have the hair and
he's the first.
The braces and the shaved eyebrows. It's something.
Yeah, he has his own signature shoe, and he's younger than I am.
Yeah,
drives a Lamborghini.
Yeah, but
must be nice.
I mean, yeah. So that'll wrap it up for our show today on Strictly Sports.
Follow us on Twitter
at Strictly Sports.
We'll start tweeting when we actually get some followers, but we don't have any. So. It's just me, Boyce, my mom.
Help us out.
Cole, I think. So
yeah. So thanks for watching today, guys, and
see you next time.